want to start with the medical disclaimer, and you guys know this information is for educational purposes. It's not intended as medical advice or a substitute for medical advice of a physician or other qualified healthcare professionals. You should not use this information for diagnosing a health or fitness problem or a disease. You should always consult with a doctor or other healthcare professional for medical advice or information about diagnosis and treatment. You guys know me. Or most of you guys know me. My name's Dr. Christina Rahm. I was Dr. Christina Rahm Cook. I went back to my maiden name. And so this is my parents' maiden name of when I was a child. I have worked in 84 and then as of last week, 85 countries because I just left Ethiopia. And I really have had an approach to wellness and health to really help clean up the body by getting rid of the things we don't need, and then also supplementing the body with what we do need. My focus of education was first psychology. I had a master's and a doctorate degree, but then I started focusing on other sciences that had to do with emotional, mental, physical health through strategic sciences. And then I went into nanotechnology and bioscience engineering, as well as pharmaceutical management and nutrition from Harvard and Cornell. My whole focus the entire time was to learn how to use natural processes through microtechnology, biotechnology, and nanotechnology, however, not synthetically, because you look at the atomic bomb and you look at GMOs, they use synthetics. I used all natural and went back to school for over 3 years to study how I could continue to create formulas that would help with health and wellness. My overall mission was you all, honestly, and my family and friends, to help us to create an environment and a community where we could energetically heal through the mind and through the heart and through the stomach and the entire electrical system of our bodies, because we're composed of energy. We're spiritual beings, and we share our DNA with everything from a leaf on a tree to pick a topic, to any kind of plant or any kind of animal. We all share the same DNA. There's only a difference in sequencing that occurs. And I talked to you guys about this earlier. We are very similar to a mushroom. That's the closest plant that has our same DNA. It just has a slight tweak in sequencing in a couple of the different areas, which those two tweaks help determine our eye color and our hair color and speech. And so it's very interesting. When I look at the human body, I look at it as an energy source. I think of our body as almost like a hologram or as a picture, but inside it's our spirit and our soul that's really important. And a lot of scientists approach the human body from a physical perspective. But if you cannot mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and energetically impact people through health and wellness and supplements, then you're not able to really help the whole being and the whole body. So going on to the next slide, we're going to talk about natural barrier support. And this is a product that is composed of zinc, vitamin D3, and vitamin C. This seems like a simple product, but I want to tell you guys, I actually just did a podcast earlier with David Icke and with Sasha Stone, and we talked about natural barrier support. And I explained that, there's a lot of vitamins and minerals that people buy at the store that have a lot of filler in them. It's kind of the same, and I'm not going to talk a lot about Relive Greens today, but like Relive Greens, most people that buy a protein shake or greens that come in these large tubs, right? That's because there's filler that occurs in that people put in, that scientists and manufacturers put in. For me, it was really important to give you guys a ability to have a product that's very compact. Like if you look at natural barrier support, the vitamin C is about 1,500 milligrams. We're having to back that down because of Europe, because your government says they shouldn't be more than 250. So you guys won't be taking hardly any to 6 months. In the United States, because of what we say in our government, they want us to take up to 2,000 to 2,500 of vitamin C. So this bottle would last someone a couple of months. And And people are very shocked at how can you offer formulas like the Relive Greens and the natural barrier support, and they're in small containers. My goal was to provide to people all natural products that were able to really assist their body. And I wanted to do it in a micro or nano way. And so to do that, I sourced the products and had them manufactured in a process which would be able to be bioavailable and efficacious. Again, the goal is to energetically, spiritually, mentally, physically clean out the body and to make sure that we are who we are meant to be. It's very simple. I believe that there is a higher being. I believe that this higher being, he would want us to be healthy and to be the best that we can be. And so that's our goal with this product. Hey, Jayla, you're going to have to block, you're going to have to mute some people. Sorry. That's our goal with this product. And it's really important. And after this call today, I'm going to give you guys significant time to ask me questions, not just about natural barrier support, but about the other products as well, because I know that one of the purposes of the science call was to be able to provide information to you all. And until this date, I've been talking more than I've been answering. And so today we will have more of an opportunity for you guys to ask me questions that pertain, again, to this product as well as to other other products. But looking to the, so hold your questions. Jayla and Patrick are going to make sure they write them down, and they're going to assist me at the end of this call to make sure we're answering all the questions that you guys have. But I want to talk about the importance of vitamins and minerals. You all listen, I remember doing a project at Harvard, and we were looking at how many vitamins and minerals were in like a orange or a banana or an apple. And we realized because of the GMOs, because of the pollutions, because of the environmental toxins, that some don't have hardly anything. So how can a source of nutrients that we've always had, of nutrition that gives our body, now not have vitamins and minerals? How does that work? Well, it's the same way with our body. When you pollute a vegetable or fruit, now remember, it shares our same DNA, and then you give it to a person where it's polluted and they put it into their body and they're not getting any vitamins and minerals, what's happening to our bodies? So it's showing you how bad environmental toxins are and how much they're actually impacting us. People worry about food that people get in third world countries. I just left a third world country. I just left an environment where people don't have enough food to eat. However, their vitamins and minerals and their apples and oranges are probably better than even the United States, because we have so much pollution, we have so much waste, environmental toxins, that we are not protecting even our fruit and vegetables, and they're no longer healthy for us in some places. So sometimes you may eat things that they say organic or they say natural, but without you knowing, they don't contain what you really need, which is why when I source products for the root products, I make sure that I'm sourcing the product and I'm having them tested to make sure how much is actually in the product. Do you know that you can actually source vitamin C, D3, and zinc, and you can find in that a lot of toxins, a lot of heavy metals, mercury, lead, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to make sure that the vitamins you're putting in your body and the nutrients and even the supplements are what they say they are and are not polluted. And that's something that I hold very important and imperative to my job and what I do, because I want to be able to help people and not hurt people. When you don't have enough vitamins and minerals, your immune system's down. Your digestive system doesn't work. You can't see. You have numbness and tingling in your body. You have dry skin, acne, wounds, et cetera, et cetera. I could go on and on. Your body has to have the vitamins and minerals it needs to be able to be the light that the world needs it to be. And let me explain that even further. Again, energetically, you have to be centered. That's why the mind and the heart and the stomach are so connected. I look at this as a miracle of where God has created us in such a way that we are this magnificent spirit inside. But again, if you put dirty things all around that energy, then the energy level, the light inside of you goes lower. So it's pretty simple. You know, I talk about this a lot, that inside your body is a city. You are born with more bacterial cells. Like I keep saying, you have more bacterial cells than human cells, right? When you're born, when you go through the mother birthing process, that's what happens. You have viruses, you get parasites very quickly, or else they're passed from the mother to the child and you're born with them. Fungus is in your body. It's part of the environment. It's like saying when you walk in, when you go into a city, there's different things in the city, right? There's cars, there's houses, there's water, there's electricity, there's all these different things, and your body is not any different than that. So it's not that these things are horrible. If you go to the doctor and they say you've got a bacterial infection, don't ever think you don't have bacteria in your body, because it's always there. It's the fact that when it becomes overgrown and there's too much of it, that it's not good. And let me use another example that can help you guys understand this. We all need water. Water is very important to us. But if a city gets too much water, it's flooded. And it's horrible. It can destroy a city. Nashville, Tennessee, where I live, has had a lot of issues in the past with this, where the river overflowed, the Cumberland River, and it destroyed a lot of houses. People died. It was horrible. But we need water, right? Yeah, we need bacteria and fungus and parasites and everything else, and viruses in our body as well, but we do not need it to be overgrown. And when you pollute the inside of your body with heavy metals and toxins, and you don't give them the vitamins and minerals they need, then you're destroying everything. Why do we need zinc? Zinc is needed for growth and development. When a child grows, when you get rid of a wound on your skin, when your immune system needs to work, when you need to have your skin look good, when you need to work on anti-aging, if you don't have zinc, none of these things work correctly. You don't grow right. Your blood sugar doesn't work. Your skin looks bad. You have to have zinc. And the zinc that you're getting in the natural barrier support is a pure zinc. It's very concentrated. Again, this bottle would last someone that was following the government guidelines in Europe, almost 6 months, because it's very important that you have zinc, but every country tells you how much you should take. I will tell you, if you ask me, can you take too much zinc? Yes, you can take too much zinc, but if you in that natural barrier support, you could probably take 4 times what's on the label, and still it would be helping your body. In fact, some people's bodies won't process zinc very well at all. So you have to take even more. But that's why I always say, please consult with a medical professional, because some people that have autoimmune disorders and diseases actually need more zinc. For example, if your heart isn't working, if the blood vessels aren't working, if you have too high a blood sugar, it's really important that you have a higher amount of zinc. When you're fighting a virus or a cold, which a cold is a form of a virus, it's really important that you take zinc. Colds are really, they bring symptoms to your body. They're really not horrible. It's like a virus. They can give you an upgrade into your system, because your immunity system can actually get better when you go through having different bacterial, viral, or colds or different infections. But the key to this is that you've got to make sure you're taking the right zinc. And again, I want to say this, you could be buying zinc off the shelf that has heavy metals in it, or that's not a concentrated level of zinc. There's not really a system that prohibits that from happening. So that's why when I made natural barrier support, it was very important to me to look at that I was able to source the right zinc and manufacture in a concentrated way, so that you guys would get the ultimate treatment from that zinc. You should administer zinc 24 hours after the onset of symptoms, because that will basically shorten the common cold. It also can help, again, with bacterial, viral, parasites, and fungus, because when you boost the immune system, when you give it the vitamins and minerals it needs, it turns into a system that will naturally start cleaning and then supplementing. We are made in this miraculous way that our bodies are able to eradicate things. However, because of the pollution, because of the environmental factors, because of how this has evolved generationally, This is not working like it should. And that's why it's really important for someone to take these things so that they can minimize. I say this all the time. We're never going to tell people that they can't get a cold or they can't get a virus or they can't get bacteria. In fact, I would tell you the opposite. If you ask me, will I ever get sick on the root products? Here's my answer. We're on this earth to go through challenges. We're not just on this earth to enjoy everything. We're on this earth for our bodies to learn lessons, our spirits, our minds, emotionally, mentally. I'm here to give you guys hope and to give you guys an understanding or help us all understand that we're here and we're going to go through challenges, but we've got to give our body the support and we've got to get our mind, body, spirit, and soul the ability to understand, yes, we're going to go through trauma. Yes, things aren't going to be easy, but it's okay because as we give our body what it needs, we will be able to fight these things and as an aspect become even stronger than we were before. So this next slide talks about zinc and diabetes and understanding the molecular mechanism and clinical implications. And I talk about molecular issues a lot. I'm a nanotechnologist, so it's really important to me that we work on a molecular level. I try really hard not to ever claim to cure anything, but instead to talk about how we're trying to get to the cause of the issue so we can have better health. But I do want to talk about this meta-analysis, which shows that zinc supplement reduces fasting blood glucose 2 hours post-prandial blood glucose and HbA1c in patients with diabetes. Let me explain that. It's really important to really attack the cholesterol levels, the LDL levels, and the triglycerides in patients that have diabetes. Diabetes is not just about blood sugar. Diabetes is about the ability the body has to really process anything in the organs. When you have diabetes, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, everything can be under attack. So it's not just the diabetes that you're worried about, it's all the different levels throughout the body. Your body becomes an environment that it's not calm. It becomes an environment that does not have equilibrium when you have diabetes. So you've really got to attack it. In this meta-analysis, it talks about how it reduces the signs of not just diabetes, but also LDL, triglycerides, like I said, and cholesterol. That's really important because that means your heart is starting to work better. Your liver is starting to work better, your kidneys, your bladder, everything. So I hope doctors explain that to you all. If you have diabetes or they're giving you tests, it's not actually the main concern that you have diabetes, it's what's happening throughout the rest of your body and how your organs are not working as effectively. So it's really important that you give the body things like zinc so that it can lower those issues in your body. You can create equilibrium and you can be happier and healthier. The second bullet point talks about an in vivo study. And again, it shows that diabetes induces the rats that have zinc to really have a positive effect, and diabetes is reduced is the overall theme of this. It does talk about oxidative stress, which you guys know how important that is. It reduces the oxidative stress and it simulates and stimulates the body so that the synthesis works better. And again, that doesn't mean just the blood sugar. That means the heart starts working better, the neurotransmitters of the brain, the GI, the liver, the kidneys, everything surrounding the body starts to work better. And it's very important that this is utilized in your body. So even though I'm talking about diabetes, this applies to anyone that has heart issues, anyone that has issues with the kidneys, the liver, the bladder, the prostate, everything. It's very important. Zinc is needed in those organs as well as in the blood for us to be able to function appropriately. Now we're going to talk about vitamin C. It's interesting. Vitamin C in some countries, they tell you that you need 2,000, 2,500 milligrams. In some countries, it's 1,500, and some it's 250. Every country is different. That's because every country has a different way of looking at this. However, when you look at the overall research, it does say that people that are trying to fight different viruses and colds and bacteria and parasites need a very high amount, around 2,000. But in some countries, the fruit and the vegetables contain a lot of vitamin C. Unfortunately, in the countries where you've had a lot of GMOs, we understand now that's not the case. It was very important to me to choose a powerful antioxidant that would really strengthen your natural immune system. I get a lot of questions about vitamin C. In fact, people are probably asking right now while I'm giving this talk. We source the vitamin C through natural sources. We are adding a vitamin C that has the ability to really go into a concentrated state. I do not add fillers to this. One of the issues with different types of ascorbic acid and different types of vitamin C is historically some of the vitamin C that has been used is toxic. And so I was very careful in the sourcing to make sure I looked at all the heavy metal levels, as well as all the toxins and all the extra fillers that were surrounding it. And I was able to find a very pure source and then manufacture it in a way where it can be delivered again in a bioavailable way. So when you guys go take vitamin C and you guys get bottles, for you to get what's in this in another formula would be very rare because of the, and I don't know how to say this, because of my experience working in so many different countries, in so many different areas, I was able to produce this in a way so that you guys could get the best vitamin C that's out there on the market, and even better than I feel like anyone else has. And that's why you're able to, again, take the vitamin C in this, and it can last in some countries up to 6 months. And even in the United States, that bottle would last at least 2 months, maybe 3 months, and you would get the highest level of vitamin C that's needed. Why do you need it? You need it, again, because of the immune system, chronic disease, heart disease. It helps prevent iron deficiency. It does a lot more than that, though. It actually helps with cellular regeneration. It helps with your breathing and asthma. People that have issues with asthma or have issues with COPD, it's very important that you have vitamin C because it assists the airway so that they open up and you can breathe better. That's one of the reasons it also helps with colds. There's lots of different mechanisms of action of vitamin C that are actually known to shorten a common cold. And this, I've shown this to you guys before. It's 9 randomized controlled trials, and it talks about the administration of vitamin C. You guys know you can do it through an IV, right? My goal was to make sure that I delivered a product that was as good as an IV vitamin drip, so that you guys would be able to induce a reduction in the duration of a cold and assist the body with everything from fungus, bacteria, parasites, et cetera, et cetera. I want to talk about this because it's really important. When you take more than 1 gram a day of vitamin C, it shortens the duration of a cold in adults by 8% and in children by 18%. But that's not the main reason for me that it's important to take vitamin C. The main reason that I think vitamin C is important is that it actually is one of those vitamins that can prevent something from happening. And the next slide talks a little bit about that. The prevention of vitamin C's and diseases has been well documented. So I want to talk about this overview. Everyone's worried about things like Alzheimer's, ADHD, autism, multiple sclerosis. You know, we have a lot of concerns in our RIC community about cancer, about the current pandemic. I could go on and on. I wanted to show a study that talks about vitamin C. 10,000 milligrams a day was given to 100 terminal ill cancer patients and compared their outcomes with 1,000 cancer patients who were given conventional therapies. It was observed that 10.3% of the cancer patients receiving vitamin C survived, while all patients on conventional therapies without vitamin C died. And I just want to let that sink in. There were 1,000 cancer patients. There were only 100 on the vitamin C at 10,000 milligrams. And 10.3% of those 100 patients survived. With the 1,000 patients that weren't on it, they all died. And I really need you guys to stop here. You know, my family suffered from cancer. I've suffered from cancer. I really want you guys to hear that. If you look at the root labels and it says vitamin C, 1,500 milligrams, right? Well, this study is giving them 10,000 milligrams. Some of your countries say 250 milligrams. So when I tell you how important it is, this is a huge number, 10%. 10.3% of the patients that were on 1,000 milligrams lived and survived. All 1,000 patients that weren't on this died. So it's really important to understand the data and to understand how much a simple vitamin can help people. And to also understand that while most people would never get 10,000 milligrams, and while we're not telling people to do that, there are studies that showed this. So I thought it was very important to be able to discuss this today, and we can talk a little bit more about it later if you guys have questions. There's also another study that's really important to me that is at the bottom, and I'm going to read this because I think this is extremely important, and I usually don't read, and I told Jayla to go on to the next slide, but I don't want her to go on right now because I want to read this to you guys. A study conducted on 12 schizophrenics showed that urinary excretion of vitamin C was significantly lower than healthy controls, and intravenous injections of large doses of vitamin C produced improvement in mental condition in 75% of patients. 75%. One of the things I understand by being a psychologist is that mental health is not just about the brain. It's about the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspect. When people are mentally ill, people treat them horrible. People think when you're mentally ill, there's something wrong with you. The truth is, a lot of times you're mentally ill because you don't have the right vitamins and minerals. And while we can't claim that we fix that, we can let people understand how important it is to the mental, emotional, and physical health that they take enough vitamin C, and how much it can improve people's health when they do take it. So even though natural barrier support is a very simple thing, in my opinion, it isn't, because it's something that everyone needs every day, from a small child to an elderly person. They need these vitamins to protect their body. Vitamin D3 is a fat soluble vitamin. It's very important to me. People ask, why aren't you giving them vitamin K? The greens have vitamin K and quercetin in them, just so you guys know, and we'll talk about that this month as well, so you guys can understand that even better. But in this particular formula, we did use the D3 and the zinc and C because they all work so cohesively together that it was very important. There are some people that cannot take vitamin K. They can from natural sources, but not the actual isolate of the vitamin because it will interfere with medicine. And I didn't want any of this particular formula to interfere with anyone's medication. So vitamin D, let's go back to that because I got a little bit off topic. It's more effective than vitamin D2. A lot of people don't understand there's difference in the vitamin Ds. There's different numbers, 1, 2, 3, and it goes on and on and on. We actually know now that there's different ways to make vitamin D, and it can go on to like 27. But I use the vitamin D3 because it's my favorite. It regulates mood, reduces depression. We understand now that people that have enough vitamin D3 usually don't get viruses, and if they do get viruses, they can fight it very quickly. It reduces the risk of multiple sclerosis. And there's even been some studies where it shows that it helps with multiple sclerosis, which is incredible. So I thought you were leaving.
No, I'm still here. I wanted to bring this to you.
Oh, you guys want to say hi to Ted?
You're on video right now.
Yeah, we're talking about D3 and how important it is. He brought me food.
What's in this?
Is that healthy?
This is for all the science people out there. This is what I'm feeding Dr. Rahm right now. It's a gluten-free oatmeal cream pie.
Oh, I like that. I was like, what is Ted giving me? I'm not sure that looks healthy. That's what I was saying. Thank you. Thank you, Ted.
Hello, community.
He says,
what a blessing.
He's saying hello to you guys. I just got back from Ethiopia, as I said earlier, and we had people here. I'll have to tell you guys later what I did to recover from not sleeping for a week. And but it's been interesting because I haven't been able to see people in the office. I missed them dearly while I was gone. So they've been extra nice to me since I've been back, and I'm very thankful for all of them. But let me go back to vitamin D3. I'm not sure I'm going to get any vitamin D3 in this cookie he just gave me. But vitamin D3 decreases the chance of developing a heart disease as well. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to give a hard stop. And I say hard stop when I really want you guys to listen to me. If a vitamin regulates mood and reduces depression, reduces the risk of multiple sclerosis, decreases the chance of heart disease, prevents infection, supports weight loss, and provides growth for the bones. And we also know supports getting rid of negative parasites and fungus. This is another thing vitamin D3 does, as well as viruses and bacteria. Why would everyone not be taking it? Well, it's natural. It's hard to source, a little expensive to make, just so you guys know. and people just aren't educated. So I want you guys to educate people on how important it is. There is not another cost-effective supplement as much as the natural barrier support. Again, this is something you can give to people if they have certain autoimmune disorders, if they have multiple sclerosis, or they have the risk of it, or Alzheimer's, or depressions, or heart disease. They maybe need to take more than what's on the label. And I can assist with the education of that, as well as working with the doctor-to-doctor community and the International Science and Nutrition Society as we educate people on that. I cannot overemphasize how important natural barrier support is to supporting your bodies, not just in this current pandemic, but as you age and as you grow. It's really important that you have these vitamins and minerals so that you can get rid of these severe illnesses by supporting your body. I'm not claiming we do this. I'm claiming that the research shows, the data shows that these vitamins are extremely important and they do the things that are on this slide. It's really important that you guys understand that and that you utilize that information to help others. So, you know, I come from a country that's freedom of speech is extremely important. The United States of America is a place where we can talk about everything. I pulled research data and we continue to pull. Jalen, Tiger, all of us work together, Dory, the International Science and Nutrition Society, to provide information to you guys that's accurate and you can share. But I want to share this. Not only is there evidence that vitamin D supplements reduce the risk of influenza and even the current pandemic of infections and deaths, it also applies to other viruses and other bacterial and fungal infections. It's really important to have these supplements. In Ethiopia, people walk around outside all day. They're exposed to vitamin D3 a lot more than other countries, and they don't have as bad of cases during this pandemic as we do. It's really important that you guys support yourself by giving your body what it needs. And while you're doing that, remember to walk outside, remember to be exposed to the sun in certain aspects, but also remember to give your body this particular vitamin because it's very needed. The vitamin D and D3 is included in the greens as far as the natural isotopes and isolates of the greens, but I wanted a particular formula that you guys could take so I would know that people were getting the vitamin D3 that they need. This particular study talks about the risk of infection, and it talks about the recommended dosing of this vitamin, and it shows that 10,000 IUDs of vitamin D3 for a few weeks rapidly raises the concentration, and then followed by 5,000. Because sometimes, and let me explain this, if you don't have enough D3, and as we age, a lot of us don't, you have to take a very high level to get up to it. So even though there's a recommended dosing, if you're depleted of vitamin D3, you have to take like 10 times more. Again, that's why we always say consult with a doctor. But for example, my body, I've had Lyme disease and I've had cancer, and I've been exposed to a lot of different environments. And so I'm always needing more vitamin D3. This particular formula I made for my family, my friends, the root community, and myself. I know that I need it. I know I need to focus on it. I know that it helps with my skin, with collagen and aging. I know it helps with my body fighting cancer. I know it helps with my body fighting Lyme disease. And I know that it helps me as I fight against the different things happening right now in this war against our bodies. So it's really important that you guys understand that yes, clean slate's important. Yes, restore is important and zero in, but so is natural barrier support. And it, again, is the most... I'm going to try to mute unless they do it. Hey, Jayla, you're going to have to mute. Perfect. Thank you. It's really important to me that you guys understand this, because I don't want you guys to have inflammation in your cytokines in your body. I don't want the bad cells to win. I want to stop it. I want inflammation to go away. You don't want a cytokine storm in the macrophages of your body. You don't want your microbiome to not be protected. So it's really important that you take the right form of vitamin D, because it will suppress the response and it will help your T cells, which really regulate everything. If your T helper cells don't work, if the cytokines are increased, then your body is exposed to inflammation. And that's when autoimmune disorders happen. That's when disease happens. That's when cancer comes and attacks the body. It's really important that you guys understand that this vitamin is needed for your body to be in balance and for your body to work appropriately. The last bullet of this is one of the most important in my opinion. It says ecological studies suggest that raising 25 of OH of the concentration through vitamin D supplements in winter avoids the risk of developing influenza. What is influenza? Influenza is a flu. It's a virus. So just that amount helps your body fight that off. And if you do get it, it helps the body continue to reduce that so it doesn't stay in the system. You know, I started this talk by talking to you guys about how I'm a scientist that was a psychologist first. And I really struggled with being a psychologist because I'm very empathic. I literally want to save everyone or help everyone. And it was really hard because when people suffer from depression and schizophrenia and bipolar and anxiety, I could go on, OCD, ADHD, they feel helpless. They absolutely feel, and they blame their own body. They blame themselves. They think that they've done something wrong and they need to be better. And that's not the case. Life is hard. Life is not easy. We've got to support each other. Don't make fun of people if they have depression. Do not put people down when they have schizophrenia or bipolar or think that you're better than them. Instead, give them the tools they need to fight it. Give your family and friend members and the people you know the ability to win by giving them things that give them natural support that they can help themselves. And, you know, what this says, where's all the sunshine? Well, the issue is, again, the environment's toxic. Sun doesn't even do what it used to do. In fact, it can really hurt us, right? So getting vitamin D from a source that we know is pure and that's natural and that can really help us support is extremely important. And again, I'm going to say it's a hard stop for me here. I want to tell the root community, please love those people that you may think are harder to love or that you don't understand. When you don't understand someone's illness, or you don't understand why someone could keep being anxious or depressed, step back, be thankful that you don't have to worry about it, and then give them again the tools that they need to really help it. I also want to discuss this about Alzheimer's. Many of you guys know I've had Alzheimer's in my family. The first bullet talks about a cross-sectional study of 80 older adults aged 60 to 92. More than half were noted to have vitamin D levels that were low, which is typical, you guys. In fact, I would have said it would have been higher. As a scientist, I think it's actually higher, but that's what this study says. The vitamin D deficiency was associated with mood disorders and depressive symptoms. This study also talks about suicidal thoughts because of this depression, and how if you could raise the vitamin D, then many of these symptoms would go away. And I think it's extremely important. You know, sometimes with our elderly, we think, well, maybe they're not as important. And that absolutely is the opposite of the truth. We should honor our elderly. We should protect them. We should take care of them. That's why we're here. We're not here just to have fun all the time. We're here to help others. We're here to love others. And we're here to give them, again, the tools that they need to really help their bodies be the best body it can be. The second bullet talks about a prospective birth cohort that studied intake of vitamin D for the first year of life. And it was noted that there's a reduced risk of schizophrenia for males if you have enough vitamin D. So again, hard stop. I say hard stop when I really want everyone to listen. It wasn't just schizophrenia. There's also other studies that showed depression, ADHD, autism. You guys, if you know anyone that has any of these issues, you need to make sure that you're giving them something that supports their body, like zinc, vitamin D3, and vitamin C. It's extremely important. So I'm at the end of this. The references are here. And I'd like you guys to know that I'm very thankful for our community. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit and then answer some questions. Hey, Patrick and Jayla, are you guys there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you need to mute a couple people, Jayla. Thank you. Hey guys, if you're listening to this, if you can mute yourselves, that will help us out a lot.
Got it.
Got it, Jayla. Did you hear any of what I just said?
No.
Okay, I got it, Claire. Okay, so 15 milligrams of vitamin C. So let me explain this. So I am a nanotechnologist. I use different techniques. Liposomal vitamin C is hard to measure. So even when I use nanotechnology with nanoemulsions or liposomes, they're very hard and almost impossible to measure. Same thing if you were to do it with a pharmaceutical, actually. The FDA has full documents on that. It's hard to measure them. I like to use them in the manufacturing process, because if you use a nanotechnology in the manufacturing process, you're able to create a very small micro nano ability to be able to communicate and help the cells and make it more bioavailable. However, that's very hard to measure. You just have to understand the technique. So for example, when there's a liposome in a pharmaceutical product, like I said, it's the same way. The reason for that is liposomes are not always measurable. It's kind of like when we worked on the black hole theory, string theory, the different things that have to do with quantum physics. It's very hard, and our technology is not adequate to really measure that. I don't know how my formula compares to other people is my answer. I'm sure Clayton would have a different answer to that. Here's my answer. I took a lot of time. I spent a lot of energy making sure I could create a process that made it more bioavailable without being synthetic, to be able to communicate with the body so you guys could have natural vitamins that would work effectively throughout the body. I do not know if there's another product that has anything like ours. I have not had exposure. If there has, you guys feel free to send me stuff if you see anything comparable. I hate saying that I have the best product, because the truth is, I'm sure there's other wonderful products out there. What I do know is the natural barrier support for you all is it was a process for me to be able to develop something that had what I wanted in it naturally, that would be bioavailable for the body, and in a formulation which I did not want a capsule. Even the vegan capsules, I wanted this to go straight into water, because another thing I utilized in this particular formula was a mechanism with the vitamin C, so it would dissolve in the water and become even more effective as it entered the body. We can talk even more about that later. Let me look really quick. Yeah, we still have more time. So if I have time at the end of this, I'll get even more into that. This next question, in my knowledge, not more than about 300 milligrams is taken from the body once. The body is saturated. How did your product work? Why is the vitamin C concentration so high? Thanks. You don't have to use as much vitamin C. If that's how you feel, every doctor has a different opinion. As a scientist, I know what my opinion is. I'm not saying mine's always right. So if you want to lower the dose, it's very easy, which is why I put it into this formulation, so that if you wanted to put it in half, if you wanted to take 1/18 of a teaspoon, you absolutely can. So if you are a doctor or a person, I don't agree with that opinion, which is fine. I'm not always right, but I just know that I usually work with rare diseases and things that autoimmune disorders that are rare. You know, if you look at Alexion Biogenideck, where we worked on proximal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, which is the blood lysine and things like that. And we would look at the vitamin levels. So that's my experience. But a typical person, they don't need as much, and you don't have to take as much. So it's really easy when people try to disagree with me about the amount. I'm like, then don't take that much. Make sure you take less. But I wanted to be able to provide it. That's why I said, if you took less than what's on here, this could last 6 months, even longer. That's why when they came to me on pricing, It's really not something that makes money for the company because we had to spend a lot of money to make this product. And you guys are able to utilize this product if you're well and healthy. And if you're like this particular individual and you think your body is saturated, again, like my body does not produce things naturally because I've had cancer and Lyme disease for a long time. I have to raise the levels, but you have the dosing down the back, so you can always lower it if you want. You don't have to take as much as is on the bottle if you don't want to. By the plains up above, gotta have, yeah, I heard this about the lemon tree. Is there a reason why you didn't include magnesium? I keep hearing it's also one of the most important minerals. Absolutely, magnesium is very important. I could have included quercetin into this, or vitamin K, or magnesium. I could still go back if I wanted to change the formulation. We've sold so much of this, we're getting ready to do another run of a huge amount of this. But we didn't want to because I put a lot of that in the Relive greens, and magnesium, there's a lot of that in the Clean Slate. You know, I added trace minerals to the Clean Slate. They were embedded into the formula. And so that's, you know, I chose to just focus on those 3 ingredients. It wouldn't have made much of a difference from our standpoint, but there are some people that have a reaction with magnesium and vitamin K. And since we already had it in some of our products, I chose not to for this particular product. I don't know if that will ever change, but at this point, we've decided not to change it. There's lots of NIH and PubMed and research that's been done with just the vitamin D3 and zinc, and also the vitamin C, that shows that cohesively, when you put those 3 together, they really impact the body. But again, there's other approaches you can make. We are shipping to 65 countries. In fact, we're getting ready to ship to even more based on the trip I just took, as well as the work that we're doing in the Middle East and Asia. So we wanted to make sure we had a formula that would be accepted in all those countries. We don't do, we try to do personalized medicine, and we try to do projections where we understand what the most people need. We don't have 100 products right now, and we don't plan on doing that because we want to work slowly to give people what they need and then learn more. So please continue to tell us what you think. Again, it doesn't mean we won't change it in the future, but that's what we've decided to do for now. I've explained this to a lot of the root community. When I make formulas, I don't make one formula. I usually make anywhere from 7 to 17 to 21 formulas. And then we decide which one the company wants to take. If you went into my office right now, you would see thousands of formulas. Oliver and Michael have been in my office today, so I'm sure they saw the binders. We have the ability to change it, but this is what we've chosen to do right now. And again, the magnesium was not added because you guys have that in your Clean Slate. When I had to do that fight for Clean Slate for the trace minerals, and Clay really did not want to add them. It was a huge jump in price point, but I was adamant because I wanted you guys to have all the minerals. We were able to add that into the Clean Slate. So that's the reason it's not in the natural barrier support. How much zinc does an 11-year-old need who has Lyme disease? So that's going to depend on your doctor. A lot of doctors will raise the zinc for Lyme disease. I agree with those doctors. Some doctors do not. Just like some doctors think that you cannot spread Lyme disease, while other doctors believe you can. And I know what my opinion is, but we all, I think you can. But the answer to that is with, if you were in Europe, they'd probably say 25 milligrams. They may actually say 10 to 20. I think it's higher with a child that has Lyme disease, but you have to be careful because zinc can impact the organs in a negative way if you have way too much. So again, you would want to consult with a doctor to make sure what the answer is to that. Is it possible to make the 0N tablet smaller? Great question. For kids, I always recommend opening it and doing half of the tablet instead of the whole tablet. You can do that with the natural veggie caps that you have on there. I hate swallowing pills, just so you guys know. I'm not good at it. I never have been since I was little, so I'm always cognizant of that. I think of all the kids that are taking these products, and I think it's very important. But again, let me see if I can show you guys. So when you see it, you can undo it and then pull it out and then give them half of it. That's what I would recommend. Or if you want to give them all of it, you can put it in water. You can put it in dressings. I do a lot of things with the 0N tablets. I actually have cooked with it before. It has a high concentration of curcumin, and the L-theanine and all the products, all the ingredients, the pine bark, the velvet bean, they actually taste pretty good if you use them in the right way, in different ingredients. So a lot of times I will do that. I can tell you when I was in Ethiopia, I did a lot with the government, and they kept asking for more and more 0N. I ran out because they loved it. They couldn't believe it. They were loving the Restore, loving the 0N. They said they noticed a huge impact in their ability to concentrate, as well as the pain they had in their knees and in their body. They kept asking, what is in this? One of the individuals had problems breathing for 6 months and could breathe after taking the Restore, Clean Slate, and 0N. Another one of the individuals could hardly walk, and then after he took it for a couple of days, said he couldn't even feel pain. And I was with my dear friend, Crystal Archie. Her daughter actually is doing the slides for us today, and she's on the science board with us. But it was amazing to see how people really responded. And Crystal was there with me when they said, please, can you please get us more? And I said, I left the last in the mayor's office and I don't have any more. And so they asked someone if they could go get it from them because I ran out. Like I said, people were asking for so much of the product. Let me see. Do you recommend taking any other vitamins if you're taking Trinity Greens? I don't think that you need to. If you feel like you're not getting enough magnesium or vitamin K, I'll get into the greens next time. But if you feel like you need more, you could always take more. I do have a magnesium formula, just so you guys know, and a trace mineral formula that's done. So if Root wanted to launch that, they could launch it. Also quercetin and vitamin K, same thing. I've already done a formula, but right now they're trying to slowly get the formulas out to you guys. So the answer is you could, you don't have to. We have to get into specific cases of why people need additional, because it's so concentrated in the formulas that you're taking that we would need to have additional talks. But I appreciate, again, you guys asking the questions, because every time you guys ask a question or give me an opinion, I don't know if you guys know this about me. I don't ignore it. I think about it. And even if I don't agree right away, I will sleep on it and keep thinking about it, because I always feel like there's a reason someone's asking. Even when people don't like me and they try to criticize something about me, I still feel like, well, there's something I'm supposed to learn from this, so let me learn from it. And I think my personality can be frustrating to others, because, you know, my ability to be a scientist, in my opinion, depends on not just positive feedback, but also negative feedback. And I think that's hard for even my husband, you know, Clayton, to understand, because he wants everyone to say positive things to me. But on the contrary, I want to know what's happening. I want to know how you guys feel, so I can continue to try to help. And if there's something that we can make better, if there's something I can do differently, then I don't ever think, well, mine's the best formula. In fact, I think the opposite. I always think, what can I continue to do to bring the Root community the best of what I know? And I do feel blessed to have you know, gone to college for 21 years and to have worked in the pharmaceutical, biotech, and nutraceutical world, as well as with governments, because I think all of that knowledge has led me, all that failure, all that knowledge, all the good and the bad has led me to this point where I'm able to provide things that I know you guys make even better, because I say this all the time. I'm a scientist and I've dedicated my life to this, but without you all, we would do nothing. And you guys are really the ones in the front line that go out there and spread this world of light that we need to center our bodies, so that inside of our bodies, the city that's in there can be the best city possible. That's different for each person, because we all have unique bodies. Even though we all share the same DNA, we all have different sourcing of the light and a way to communicate that to others. So because of that, it's really important for me to listen to you all. If there's something that I have not thought of, if I have not experienced it, and you guys bring it up, it's very important to this mission and to us being successful. So please keep continuing to ask me those questions. I don't think you need to take anything else, but it depends. Eileen, you'd have to let me know who you're talking about, and I could answer that question more effectively. So Laura, you said we can quadruple the dose on natural barrier support when you discuss zinc. Does that apply? So yeah, so if you saw the slides that I showed you, you saw that 10,000 milligrams with cancer was used for vitamin C. That's not at all what the government recommends, because back to the doctor that posted that it can saturate the body, that's how a lot of governments think. However, studies show different. So some people need a lot more than triple, right? It depends on what's going on in your body. It depends on what's happening. Unfortunately, a lot of doctors have not studied nutrition and supplementation, which is why I went back to Cornell. I wanted to go to the best nutritional program there was. So I chose Cornell, and I wanted to really study that so I could help formulate products and have knowledge to help you guys. That being said, there's different opinions on that. So I just want to make sure that I point that out. Yes. So again, some people do need more vitamin D. Some people, so let me use my body as an example. Because of what I've gone through, because of what I've experienced, because of the disease and the autoimmune disorders that I've had to deal with, I need higher concentrations. But a typical person does not. They already have it in their body. Some of the studies show that when you take higher dosing, your body cannot process it anyway, so it doesn't even help. However, then there's competitive research that shows that if you do take the higher dosing, though, you have a chance of getting better if you have autoimmune disorders or cancer. So there's different opinions on that. From my experience, people that have undergone a lot of autoimmune disorders, cancer, even like traveling, I'll use another example with me. When I traveled, 26 hours there and back to Ethiopia, and didn't sleep more than 3 to 4 hours a night, my body was depleted, right? So I had to really regenerate my body and put a lot of vitamins and minerals. It was very important because of that experience, and working constantly and not sleeping and being exposed to different environments, being in the air for such a long time in a short period of time. I really had to make sure I tripled everything I was taking. So I was taking a lot more Restore, a lot more Clean Slate, Relive Greens, etc. I'll use Dory as another example. She's been sick, so she has added a lot more to what she's taking. We're both researchers that are scientists that have gone to school for a long time, and both of us did that because we knew it was important. However, a lot of doctors will say it's not needed. So it just depends on, again, you are the mayor over your body. And I say this to you guys all the time. No one will love your body or know your body as much as you. There's always different opinions. There's always people that are going to tell you what to do. You've got to listen to your body. You've got to learn as much as you can. And then you've got to try different things. And I'll give you an example. If you are sick and you don't feel like you're getting a response, then usually you need to take more of a product. Sometimes people have a reaction and they need to stop taking a product for a little bit of time and then start back. Everybody's different. But if your body is fighting something, you naturally need more of it. And that's just how it is. The quantity of vitamin. There are some doubts, Verna, that the quantity of vitamin D does not equal 16% of RDI. Again, so guys, I want to make sure I'm explaining this. If you look at the back of the label, natural barrier support, and it talks about what you need, the serving size, you can add more or you can lower it. And I don't understand that. I do an analysis on every product. So what's on the label is accurate. We legally can't lie to people, and there's not a need to. Like we could make this formulation for 1 month and sell it for the same price, and we would never have any pushback. I just happen to make a product that could be used for 2 to 3 months and even longer. But again, if you want to add more to what you're taking, that's up to you. Or if you want out the world have a different amount that they want to lower the dosing in Europe. So we're changing the labels because you guys can't take as much. So that's not accurate in my opinion, but we can talk later, Berna, if you have further questions. So it's a natural source of vitamin D, and I will ask Clay and Ted and the rest of the group if they mind if I tell you that source. So I'll ask after that. Who asked that? Claire. And so Claire from ISNS, let's get back on that because I do have the source of the vitamin D3, and I just don't know if Clay and Ted want me to answer it.
Okay, I've noted that down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Russia. No, we're not registered yet in Russia. We are working on that. I think that we have worked on that in Ukraine. I know today I was working on Turkey for registration. So we are not actively shipping. Our attorney is from Russia, one of our attorneys, and he's our main attorney, does a lot in Russia. So, but from our experience right now, like I said, we've opened so many countries so fast. We're just trying to be strategic on how we're doing that. But I know it's on our radar. I can't understand that question. Oh, you want to share the reference? Hey, if you're listening, Jayla, can you go back and share the reference scene or screen? And I know we've lost a lot of people because we've really finished the presentation, but I do want to talk to the rest of the root community real quick. And then if you guys have any further questions, if you can send those to the science, I will get back to you on those questions. And Verna, it's noted the questions that you had, as well as Eileen. Feel free to reach out to me personally and I can answer even more of those for you all. I just want to talk a little bit about my experience in Ethiopia. I had an amazing experience with really meeting a lot of influential people there because of my friend Crystal Archie and how hard she's worked. Ethiopia is a beautiful city, but it has a lot of poverty, and not just poverty like you would see in the United States or the UK, but extreme poverty where people are living in villages of trash and eating out of the trash, drinking the same water where they're using the bathroom, and they're really trying actively to clean that up. We are trying very hard to source products from Ethiopia and the green beans because the first coffee actually came from Ethiopia, and they have a lot of organic places. But during my travels there, I was able to experience firsthand what it was like in those areas where there's not food, there's not electricity, there's not water, there's not an ability to have a job. And it really hit me hard that, the root community is not just here for physical wellness and health, but spiritually and mentally, emotionally, energetically, and socially, we're here to help. And I want to tell you guys that it's really important that we remember that our world we see here is different than other people. Like, other people have to live a life that there's not air conditioned, there's not water, there's not electricity, there's not television, there's not food that's fresh. And we need to be part of the change where we help people, whether it's Ethiopia or whether it's in our backyard. We need to be a light. It's really important. I get questions sometimes where people want to fight with me over the formulations that I make, and I don't always handle it right. Sometimes I want to say, just don't use them if you don't want to. And if you ask me, am I trying to be mean when I say that? No. What I'm trying to say, there's so many things in life to worry about. In the root community, we need to worry about the right things. We need to focus on change, on being beacons of light, and in being examples where we love people, where we share with people, where we help people, where we're strong. When we make mistakes, that we pick each other up and we love each other despite our differences. I hope that in this root community, we don't forget that energetically, the energy that we share is almost more important than anything. If you do not share light, if you do not share goodness, if you do not do the right thing or try to do the right thing, I would rather not work with people. I'd rather not you be in this community. We're here to help. We're here to love. We're here to do the right thing. And it's good and it's okay if we disagree on things. It's okay if you don't like something I make or don't like something Clayton or Ted say or I say, but it's not okay for us not to do the right thing. It's not okay for us not to be good people and not to energetically do the right thing. This community is for amazing, good people that try to do the right thing. None of us are perfect, but we should strive every day to be a light to the world and not something that's distracting or destructive. There's so little time on earth. So while you're here, please be part of this community. Please share things that are positive. Don't just share the products, but use your life to be an example to others to try to do the right thing. It's It's hard for me not to cry when I just spent time in a country where there's people that have nothing, but yet they're happy. We have a lot, and we have a lot of work to do. So let's do it together. Let's be positive. Let's be ambassadors, not just for Root, but for the world. That's our job. That's what we need to do.